Have you said I love you to yourself today? If not, today's topic is just for you. We are going to be speaking and sharing and learning about ways in which we can speak to ourselves in a more kind, loving, and compassionate manner. So, how you speak to yourself and the ways it can take up shape, take up space in your body, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm saying this really bad thing to myself, and then all of a sudden I'm going to grow a third arm, which for some people, growing a third arm would be a blessing, especially if you're wrangling tiny humans, right? But here's the thing, having... speaking to yourself and what you speak to yourself, even without saying, right? Even not even saying it out loud, it does inform how you move. And my journey getting to the space of yes, as I mentioned in past episodes, and if you've, been following my story, on socials and whatnot, that I've, played sports from the age of 10 all the way up until I graduated high school. They were organized sports. And then, so I had a pretty good understanding of body awareness and whatnot. And then stepping into yoga, being called to practice yoga, was something that was unfamiliar to me, but it was very much oh, okay, it's giving me time to pause, to notice what is coming up in my body. And yes, I would say, I definitely didn't have affirmations that I would say to myself. I definitely wasn't thinking kind thoughts about myself either. Honestly, y'all, I was just trying to make it. I was just trying to make it through the day. I was just trying to stay alive. I was just trying to make the best decision possible just to survive and get through. Fast forward to where we are, today, and this time is I found myself over the last few months, not dropping back into those habits at all of negative self-talk, but really not giving myself the credit where credit is due. And that was, taking up shape in, the fact that in 2020, I started walking with my friend Jordan. Shout out to Jordan. She just had baby Izzy. And we would go on walks and whatnot for 30, 45 an hour at a time, while we were sheltering in place, right? And so I started to lose weight. And I was never a bigger body person. It was just I know I had extra weight that I was carrying that was not natural for my frame. I didn't feel my best. But again, like I said, I was just making it through. And so over the course of the last 2.5 years, I've lost over 50 pounds, and over 50 pounds. But recently, over the last month or so, I've put on a couple more pounds, and it was not anything that anyone would really notice, but it was really just me noticing that, okay, what's going on? Something's happening. And it wasn't, and what I was doing was, what I noticed was okay, so going back to the question of how do what you say to yourself or even think about yourself inform the decisions you make, inform how your body reacts, right? Well, my body, I was emotionally eating. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing the things that bring me joy as much as I was doing because I got busy with work. And it started to just kind of weigh on me emotionally. And so that takes up shape in the body. And so you ailments start to creep up. Inflammation starts to happen. You do start to put on weight. You do start to put on these and you start to kind of feel overall heavy, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. I started to feel heavy. until I started to see how, okay, I'm not speaking to myself and I'm not thinking the way that I tell other people to talk to themselves, how I coach other people to talk to themselves, how I even would dare like speak to a friend. I'm not speaking to myself in that way, that kind way, right? And so I knew a shift had to happen. And so I've been recently seeing this amazing healer, Dr. Mitra, and she's acupuncturist and just an overall, like, just beautiful, beautiful person. And I've been seeing her for a while, and without getting into the intricate details of every single visit, but she was like, she asked me this past time when I was there, she said, "Why are you so hard on yourself?" And I want to take a second here, friends, and ask you, why are you so hard on yourself? Why are you not acknowledging the good job that you're doing? Why are you not acknowledging the fact that you're not only keeping your kids alive if you have children, but you're helping them thrive? Why are you not acknowledging the fact that if you are in a partnership, you are part of, and even if you're going through a tough time with your partner, why are you not acknowledging the fact that y'all have each other and that you can weather through this storm together? It's a choice that you get to make, right? And most importantly, why are you not loving on yourself each and every day, saying things to yourself to acknowledge the fact that you've grown and you've moved through so much? Heck, we've all been through this. We've all been through a global pandemic. So if you're listening to this right now, you survived. And even starting with that and then kind of like compounding on this list, right? And so Mitra asked, like Dr. Mitra was like, so what's going on? And it really, and I said to her, I said, you know what? I'm not really sure why I've always been so hard on myself and why I am such a big cheerleader and so proud to be such a big cheerleader for other people, right? Like why I'm such like okay, let's be mindful of what we think, and not just only for other people, but most importantly ourselves. And I started recently this nervous system reset course. And it has, after the first class, within the first 5 minutes, it already started to work wonders and started to make a lot of sense to me because I talked to my teacher about that. And she said, when you're young and you don't recognize when there's trouble, like when you're little or you experience a trauma or you see a trauma, you see danger, and you don't have the vocabulary at a certain age to say, okay, this is something that's going on that is not okay. Your body starts to internalize it that there is something wrong with you. And so the fact that I've been, the survivor of so many different types of abuse, but I didn't have the words for it then, like I do now, to label it what it was. My body was like, okay, well, it has to be you. And so my nervous system, and mind you, I'm not an expert on the nervous system, but I am an expert on taking the steps that's necessary to heal. And I'm really proud of my ability to be able to do that, to infuse this mindfulness approach, and also pausing and stepping back and looking at myself and saying, okay, we gotta start loving on ourselves. We gotta start speaking to ourselves in the way in which we know better. And so my teacher with, the nervous system reset was like, you know what? And that's what happens. And so if we don't address it, if we don't heal it, we're not even informed about what is happening, we grow up and we just internalize it as everything has to be perfect, because if it's not perfect, then I'm the problem. And most of the time, you're not the problem. And it's why I was at a job, again, that I loved for 7 years. And I thought, and I was excelling there. And I still, throughout that time, never thought I was good enough. It was like, I never thought I deserved it. Anytime something would go wrong or something would happen, it was like, there would be some constructive criticism and whatnot, and I could take it, right? Because it was like, oh, there's no way anybody has said anything ever to me that I've not said 10 times worse to myself. we all been there, right? We've all been there. And so what I realized though was like, okay, I need to stop. I need to acknowledge, okay, I'm now a recovering perfectionist and I've moved away from that. I do have any room that I'm in, I belong there. And I am more than good enough. I am more than capable. I'm skilled. I'm educated. I'm beautiful. I'm brave. I'm vulnerable. I'm smart. I'm joy-filled. I'm happy. I am like loving. I'm sexy. All of these things, right? That I just would not even be able to say with ease many years ago. And even sometimes I my throat kind of would choke up a few years ago at the thought of like calling me sexy, calling myself beautiful. It was like, no. I mean, I knew I wasn't ugly. Let's just like clear that up. But I definitely wasn't able to see myself in the same way that like other people see me. And what that took was me taking the necessary steps and being like, okay, what is most important to me right now? And what's most important to me right now is soul healing from the inside out, speaking to myself, loving myself, honoring myself, forgiving myself, right? That's where Mitra was like, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. What are you holding on to? She told me that there was some toxicity happening in my body, and it scared me half to death. Because the toxicity that was happening in my body was like the toxicity that my mother carried for many years. And she had pancreatic cancer and succumbed to it, unfortunately. But I know that she was hurting. I know that she was, but she didn't have the words. She didn't have a Dr. Mitra to go to. She didn't have, a nervous system reset. And we've talked about this, right? And I've shared about this before, but, being able to tap into these resources that I have, and it's a blessing to be able to do so. I just finished this book, kind of in the same lane about, what is important to you. I just finished this book, Happy Money by Ken Honda. And he asked, the things your bank account will tell you what is most important to you. I mean, I'm sure y'all have heard that many other places too. Your bank account will inform what you deem as most important in life, right? And for me, I look at my account and I deem most important in life right now, my mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health, my physical health. That is like my number one priority. Because if I'm not healthy, if I'm not holistically healthy from the inside out, not just about what you look like, right? That's not what health is about. It's about like, okay, if I'm not able to be driving in my car from Santa Monica, from North Hollywood to Santa Monica to La Brea, off La Brea, whatever, in LA, back to North Hollywood and, with ease and flow and finding absolute joy. It was just a moment of pure peace and happiness that I felt, that I wanted to capture an actual photo for it. I wanted to capture that because it's not like it's a fleeting moment, but it's definitely a place where I know like, wow, I genuinely feel really good. I used to smile, and I used to smile to disarm. I used to smile because I was sad to mask, because I didn't want anybody else to know that I was like, having a hard time, right? Because it was like just easier for me to just be happy. And I was like, so if this is all resonating with you, then I invite you to take stock. And I understand that things cost money. These things that I'm investing my investing in, and it is an investment, it costs. But to me, it's priceless because I'm only able to be talking to y'all because of that work that I'm doing with being a part of New Earth Mystery School with my teacher, Miriam Hasna, and, going to see Dr. Mitra, the nervous system reset. Like, working out, getting a personal trainer, doing my yoga every day. Believe it or not, as a yoga instructor, spoiler alert, not all yoga instructors do yoga every single day, but recognizing that, okay, this past week, me getting on my mat for me was like, yes, this is what it's all about. And just going back to the mindfulness aspect is like, International Yoga Day was on June 21st. It was a Tuesday. And if you know LA, when I'm about to say to you, you're going to be like, girl, I went from North Hollywood, filmed something virtual, to Beverly Hills, filmed something virtual, to teaching kids yoga in Manhattan Beach, in Manhattan Village for the kids, to a private client in Palisades, the Pacific Palisades, to Glendale to film something virtual, all in one day. Yeah. My LA people, take a second. All in one day. And I was tired, but I was so liberated and emotional and filled with so much joy in doing all of that, all of that moving, y'all. This is all day. And if you don't know LA and you have a second, pull up a map. when you're done listening, pull up a map, because the only way I was able to get through that are my affirmations, are the things that I do for myself, are the ways that I speak to myself and speak about, a friend of mine, and she's a dear client too, talked about being in the already. So we're already doing, right? We're already. It's our acknowledgement. I mean, so when I start something, start a yoga class, start a yoga teacher training, start a nervous system reset course, the minute my mind said I'm going to do it, it was already in motion. So if you've already thought something, right, that's positive, that's beautiful, that you want for yourself, it's already in work. It's already in the works. So there's really no turning back now. You can press the brakes on it, but if it's something where you feel called to follow the thread, then I suggest you continue following the thread. I was only able to move through those days of busyness, those days of like going from here to there to everywhere, because of like, I recognize I am great. I am wonderful. I am beautiful. I am free. I have everything that I need. I am already. I am already. I have support. People are ready to help me. People are ready there. They're on my side. I have a huge heart. I have a great mind. It is clear. It is capable. And so even taking the necessary steps that even further, right? Like, so once I'm on something, I'm on it. True Aries energy. Like, we in it. When we're on it, we're on it. And then when we're off it, we're off it. It goes with everything, right? But it's like right now, and I don't think I'll be off, because this is going to be a lifestyle, right? This is all a lifestyle shift that I'm talking about, sweet friends, a lifestyle. So having like, okay, Mitra, talked to me about, my diet and checking to see what am I eating? Because again, I wasn't feeling my best, and I know that I could feel better. So anytime that I know I could do better, I do better. I know that I could be better, I be better. I'm better. I do it. And if I know that I can feel good, if I know that I can be at optimal 100% health, I can be a picture of health, and you tell me what I need to do that, I'm doing it. If I trust you, I'm doing it. So I am vegan. Again, I am doing gluten-free. I've never done gluten-free in my life, but I'm doing it. I'm not having coffee. I have not had coffee. By the time you listen to this, it'll probably be a month. But I'm off of it, because anytime I feel like I need something, I'm reliant on something, some sort of thing outside of myself, pump the brakes. I pump the brakes real quick. And I consider that a blessing because a lot of people, for whether it be, for whatever reason, there's different things that they have going on to where they can't recognize that. There's a lot of things that's clouding their ability to do so. So I take great pride in the fact of like, all right, well, so you say I got to do all those things. You say I have to be on this liver detox and to be my best self, then I'm doing it because I want to be my best self. I want to be good. I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to be all those things every single day I wake up. And this is the way in which I do it. So I start my day writing 10 things, 5 things, 7 things that I love about myself. I start by, I end the day forgiving myself, forgiving those who hurt me, and forgiving, ways in which I hurt other people, possibly, right? And I rest with ease and I wake up and I'm just like, oh, I feel good. Just even saying that out loud when you wake up in the morning, I feel good. Even if you don't feel good, just say, I feel. Because at least you feel if you don't know you don't feel good. What a gift. Because a lot of us don't get that. So that's in the ways in which I've learned to really speak to myself and how that informs how I treat myself, what I wear, what I eat, what I do, who I spend my time with, what I watch, because I only want to stay in this alignment. I only want to stay in this ascension. I only want to stay in this evolution. And that's what it takes. That's what I found it takes for me. So maybe that resonates for you, right? Maybe that resonates with you. Like, okay, it's time for me to start acknowledging. And if you need help, I'd love to hear from you. If you need help, getting started, let's chat. Let's connect, because, even starting with, listen, here, I'm going to tell you what I wrote today. I wrote, I am smart, beautiful, funny, loving, caring, supportive, joy-filled, a home, a great lover, persistent, innovative, thoughtful, strong, fit. I have a great ass. Yeah, I do. Beautiful, beautiful, fit, built body. A beautiful, chosen family. A beautiful family that I was born into. A wonderful and warm home. Smart friends that care about me. And that's what I wrote. And then I thank God for the ability to choose. Thank God for the ability to be. Thank God for the ability to let go of, to say, you know what, like I get to become, I'm going to become the shapes in which how I move my body in my yoga classes. I'm going to become the thing that I see. I'm going to become the thing that I see that stands out to me in other people. So I'm going to call that out in other people. If I see somebody who looks good, if I see somebody doing a great job, I'm going to call that out because that's the thing that I want to see in myself, and I acknowledge it in others with ease. And I'm going to become embodied here, like a part of, I am of the earth. I'm not separate from it, right? We are made up of nature. And then y'all are going to hear me say this a lot. You stick around, calling all of my energy back, calling all of it back from the good situations, from the situations that were challenging, calling all of my energy back. Because in order for me to operate, I just told y'all I drove all the way to Egypt and back in one day. I need all my energy. I don't know about y'all, but I need all my energy. So I suggest y'all call all yours back too, okay? So yeah, it's all about choices that we get to make, and how we speak to ourselves definitely informs how we're able to move in a true meditative, loving, and mindfulness way. So thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. And if y'all have any questions about anything that we went through, I would love to hear, some of your affirmations, and I would love to hear from you. So let's connect.